All right, let's get down to business. What does race have to do with it? Everything. Maybe if you're blind, maybe if you can't see, maybe if I gouge your eyes out with a fork, it won't have anything to do with anything. Until we're all blind, like Adam and Eve up in like the Garden of Eden, can't see our own nudity, then maybe ethnicity, race, where you come from ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But how about just make things for everyone? Like everyone goes to the movies, and Asian kids don't see themselves in Batman. Like all these Anglo-Saxon kids that could grow up and think they could be the president could not. Asian people, Hispanic people, black people, despite y'all's racism and bigotry, we here still. We here. Like you can pretend that we're not here, but we are here. And you don't have to like Obama. Obama did not have to end racism or be a bad president. He could still be a president without having to be the best or the worst based on his ethnicity. But you know what? Some people will do that. Some people will be like, oh, just because he was this, just because he was that, things. Well, if race didn't matter, then we wouldn't be talking about this, would we? But it does. Y'all know it does. So stop asking that question. Stop being like, well, what is it? I can't see myself in certain medias. Y'all have made it your mission to make sure that only Anglo-Saxon people are happy. This whole Spider-Verse thing is cool. I'm not into comics, as you guys know. So I don't know about this. I don't know if this came out of nowhere or if there was actual art, addition of Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse or whatever. Well, does this boy really exist? Regardless, it's so that ethnic people can see themselves on the screen and be like, wow, that's cool. Every single superhero has been Anglo-Saxon. Why is it that we get the Black Panther? It's like, okay, that's interesting, but that's cool. That's cool. There's a whole thing where we could just go into the whole rabbit hole of why do we get Black Panther and everyone else gets just regular? We have to get Black Thunder and Black something to make sure everyone knows this is a black person. Like, are y'all gonna like make Asian superheroes the Chinese wing? Like, are we really doing that? Can't we just be superheroes without being branded as black or being branded as whatever we are? Superman isn't Anglo-Superman. Spider-Man isn't white Spider-Man. He's just Spider-Man. That's why there's a difference. Because y'all make y'all make it a difference. Black Panther's black. Y'all made that distinction quite clear. He couldn't have just been the Panther. He couldn't just be anything else. He had to be Black Panther, right? So don't talk to me about what does it got to do with it because we want to actually be the same. Y'all don't know what equality is. Y'all need to pick up a dictionary and figure out what equality is. Because this isn't equality. Everything that I'm talking about in all of my videos, mostly all of my videos, is because of that. We want to be able to look at the screen and be satisfied, be comfortable. It's hard to do that when no one looks like you. And then y'all are there are certain groups of people who decide that they see the outrage and they want everyone else to be outraged. So they make Anne Boleyn black, or people who had no business being anything else because we all know who they are. Add more characters to Resident Evil then that are different ethnicities. Y'all made Sheva, even though she's very, very light-skinned. We could start somewhere. That doesn't mean that's where it ends, but it kind of did, didn't it? No other black people in that you could move around and play with. We're just the black people that die. So again, as I say, I've got so many of these examples. Don't come at me asking what does race have to do with it. It's got to do with a lot, and y'all make it so. I didn't want this. Who wanted this? No one wanted this outcome, but here we are. And in order for us to stop it, y'all gonna have to admit that there is a problem. You think there's no problem because you have it all. You have it all. every character that's anything that has any cool arc, any story arc, even the villains, cool villains and stuff, Anglo. Very one-dimensional ethnic characters. And usually their ethnicity or their culture has something to do with their actual being, their personality. They can't just be a person. They have to be their ethnicity. They have to represent everyone. And that's the distinction I mean. Anglo-Saxons do not have to represent every Anglo-Saxon. But every black character, because there's barely any compared, it's not comparable. Don't come at me saying that, oh, there's the equal amount of black people as there are white people, and there's not. Or Asian or Hispanic. So don't. And yeah, you can probably name a few other black, like, what's her face, Storm, who's not based on, like, she doesn't, I don't really know, like, I don't know comic book characters, but I know for a fact the entire Justice League is mostly Anglo-Saxon. And if anyone is like, oh, it's America, like, that's even more reason. Like, we are not xenophobic in the sense of, there's a lot of xenophobic people here, but you can go in America and see a lot of different ethnicities. Like, this is a melting pot more than any other place. Any other place. We are very melting potish. So, like, our media should reflect that, and it doesn't. And people think it does. There's a misconception. It just doesn't. There could be tons of indie movies made by other ethnicities that don't get the recognition, like Game of Thrones. Like, how many in Game of Thrones, that was a popular show. It wasn't popular because it was Anglo-Saxon. It's popular because it had a lot of promotion, a lot of things that they did. They had nudity all up in there until the final seasons, and then ironically, when the nudity stopped, it got bad. And that's not the reason why it got bad either. But it's, like, interesting. How's that? That's pretty interesting. Like, and in Game of Thrones. So that's interesting how y'all get to be kings and queens, and then the brown, lightly brown people are princes of Dorne and princesses of Dorne. And then the darkest skinned people, the Dox Taharzes, or whatever's his name, dude that got locked up in the vault for lying about how much he had, was dark-skinned black guy, right? Interesting. So, old other dude who's dark-skinned black guy is like, I want to F the queen. I want to this, that, and the other. Like, he's a pirate, a dirty old pirate that wants to F everyone. And is like, you never see him again. He's not a character that's important in the show. I don't care about the books because I'm not talking about the books. I'm talking about the media that we can see. For all we know, Arya could be black, but I know she's not. But I'm saying that books if they don't specifically say if you can't describe the character in your mind and see that person and it's not an interpretation, you can interpret it how you want in media. Like movies or series. But it seems to be quite interesting that the first thing that y'all like to do is go to Anglo people and tell them that they get to be all the people inside and all the cool people. And here we go. It's like, not every black person has to be Miss Goody Two Shoes or Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Make them bad like you make Anglo-Saxons bad and evil. Give them a cool back, like, give them things. Literally, if you have to do this, pretend they're Anglo and write them like that and then put them in there. Honestly. If it's not a piece, if it's not a historical piece about how white people or how black people or how any ethnicity was treated, and it's not a specific historical piece, the ethnicity or race shouldn't matter. But y'all make it matter, like I said. Y'all make it matter every time. Bridgerton, you didn't have to talk about them like, oh, before we were in a divided place. Like, it would have been just better if y'all just left it as it was. You didn't have to explain none of that. It just makes everything worse with the Dukes of Hastings or whatever, pasties. Dukes of Pasties or whatever his name is, like, father being abusive and whatnot, and then light-skinned girl gets to be the one that's out of wedlock and pregnant, barefoot and pregnant. Couldn't be none of the Anglo-Saxon girls. And then how come the darkest skinned woman is the old woman, like older woman? It's like the memmy, like y'all make me. It's easy to really riddle off. It's easy to just boil it down. Half of the cast should have been a different ethnicity if that's what y'all were going to do. But y'all didn't. Y'all made it seem like it was so diverse. It only had some black people, and the darkest skinned black girls were in the back. Don't talk to me about how race doesn't matter, because they make sure it matters. I didn't make sure it mattered. Did I make this? Did I make any of these things? Did I make Black Panther? Did I do any of this? I didn't do any of this. I'm talking about it, and y'all just don't like to hear it because y'all like to stay comfortable and pretend that we're all treated equally, and pretend that everything's for everyone when it's not. The sooner we realize it, the sooner we can fix it.